Smash Brothers now versus Smash Brothers then. Which do you prefer and why?
Oh boy. We're going to be talking about this a lot later, but
yeah.
No time like the present.
All right. Well, I've said it before, but I prefer old Smash Brothers, and I mean N64. That's my favorite version. It's a lot simpler. To me, simple is better. I like that there's a lot of the characters actually can't really get back up from being knocked out. I think it adds to their versatility. So you can say like Link is a really good fighter, but just don't get knocked off because you're not going to get back on. Whereas I think in more modern Smash Bros, pretty much every character can get on from like seemingly impossible odds. And I just don't really like that. I like that there aren't as many characters and there aren't really duplicates except for Luigi. Whereas like in even in Melee, it's like, why is Ganondorf and Captain Falcon like the same character? Like it just doesn't really, I don't understand that. So for me, it's always been the first one, but I do like Melee a lot. And I like modern stuff too. I just prefer N64.
Yeah. I've grown up playing a lot of Smash. I've played a lot of every iteration of the franchise. So like, while I am nostalgic for older Smash, where I have been playing every single game as they release throughout the years, throughout my entire life, I'm at a point to where like I just appreciate where we are and how many characters there are and how it's like a celebration of gaming and stuff. So like going back and playing the other ones are fun for me, yes, and I have a lot of nostalgia for them, but I just love Ultimate is huge. There's so many characters and so much stuff to do in that game, and it's probably, I mean, if you ask me my favorite Smash, it's probably going to be that one until they top it, which they probably won't by this point. I don't know how the hell they could top that game in terms of the roster, at least. So new for me.
For that same reason, because there is so much, I almost get overwhelmed with it. Even the idea of DLC characters in that game, like, it's unnecessary to me, although it's cool and like there's ones I want. Even number of stages, even that story mode, it's just massive. To me, Melee is like the perfect balance in this whole series of especially single player content. I love going through adventure mode with all the characters. I love getting the alternate versions of the trophies. I love getting the trophy through classic mode, through all-stars mode, going and spending time in that freaking lobby, just putting play coins into the trophy dispenser. Oh man, there's so many good, just well-designed elements of Melee. And I'm not like a competitive Melee person. I'm not very, like, I can do a little bit of wave dashing, but I don't really care for the meta or whatever. But as far as a single player game, Melee is the best bang for your buck. I'm a little nostalgic. I grew up with the N64 one, but I'd be lying to myself if I said it was a better game. But I would go Smash Brothers then. I think what they're doing now is too much, and I think it's actually I wouldn't say it's put a nail in the coffin for the series, but it's really left very little room for growth in terms of future Smash.
So I think Melee is kind of a disaster. And I get that it has like a community, but the problem is the wave dashing. It's like, it's either you're a wave dasher or you're not a competitive Melee player, because you essentially have to do that to be competitive. And I think that's really sad and annoying that it's like, we found a way to break the game, so it's literally the only way to play it. I think it's really bad, because otherwise I had so much fun with Melee. I'm glad that they seem to have rectified that with the newer ones. But it's just a shame that Melee would get tainted like that.
Yeah, the thing is though, like, you could agree to enjoy it, like if you're with a communal fan base. Most people I know can't wave dash anyway, and if you want to play fair, like, let's agree to no wave dashing. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see your points about it becoming a little much for me. Like, where I have played every game and spent hundreds of hours with every game, it's like Ultimate is like building on. It's it's like built onto every single game. So like the new stuff in Ultimate to me is its own game, and then there's also the stuff from the previous games, which I've already experienced through the previous games. So
I would agree with you to Melee, but to me the original is so much different than Melee and the rest. It's like To me, it's
That's true.
the original, and then
The original is
other
kind of.
ones.
I mean, we're gonna talk about it for a map app, but the original is kind of junky compared to like Melee and stuff, and it like has its own charm. Not junky in like a bad way, but like, wasn't you could it like wasn't the fighting game experience that like Melee was gonna be. You know, it was just like a weird.
Oh
thing.
yeah, no, they're completely different games. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah, they're definitely different. But I think that was the original point of it. Was it's supposed to just be like a sumo game, and then they definitely took hold of it with the fighting game community and really pushed it out to what it is now.
I'm excited to do the episode. I've been doing a lot of like listening to some podcasts and research about it, and there's like some surprising history behind that game. So,
Smash Bros. 64 Brawl Out.
Yeah.
Hey, girls.
Hey.
That's Kirby.
Hey.
He's one of
I
the
always like
fighters.
Brawl.
You'll
If I
see him.
I had to pick my very favorite Smash though, based on nostalgia, it's probably Brawl. I think Brawl had a really good roster. I go listen. I know tripping. You get tripping. Brawl had a great roster and a really fun single player mode with that co-op. I really like Subspace Emissary a lot, and it's sad they didn't bring that back in any form. I know, and like they were going to bring it back for Wii U, and then like they were Sakurai was like, no, people will leak the cutscenes online. And I'm like, what the fuck does that matter? Just do it.
Well, that's where I go. Like, Ultimate is not really like in terms of single player story content. Like, I think it's a downgrade.
I agree there.
You could argue
agree
that
with
Subspace Emissary like adds on from Melee's adventure mode for sure. I understand that, but
yeah. Well, the Melee one is kind of short, right? It's like never.
yeah, but there's like an arcade fun to it that I like just going through Captain Falcon's like freaking, machines, and then like also like going through Hyrule Castle and fighting Redeads or whatever, or I think that's their name. And just like trying to find the exit. How fast can you find it? All these different little challenges. Like it tells its own story.
I'll tell you what though, nothing will match the disappointment of Smash Wii U, even though that's a game I've put almost 300 hours into.
Oh.
Nothing will match the disappointment of the fucking Smash Tour mode or whatever the hell it's called.
I don't know.
So like on Smash 3DS, you had Smash Run, which was kind of fun. It was kind of like and Kirby's Air Ride, you had the city mode where you like city trial where you collect power ups and then do a match. It was the same idea. You like ran through the Great Cave Offensive and got power ups, and then you did a match, and it was kind of neat. But on the Wii U one, they did Smash Tour, which was the big mode. It had a big old emblem on the main menu, and it's a damn party mode. It's a fucking party board. And it's garbage. No, I never understood how to play that game. Me and friends tried to play it multiple times, and every time we just halfway through we were like, okay, let's just go back to play normal Smash. Let's just this is junk. And
Those two even count? They don't count. I don't even. I can even
they don't
remember that
count?
I played it for like 50 hours. No,
they don't count.
It counts.
I know. I just completely spaced on them even existing. That's how crazy that is.
I played a
put
shit.
them in the conversation.
Smash Wii U is probably the one I played the most of.
I did too. I played like 50 to 100 hours of the 3DS one.
I find it interesting that you guys are judging these games on the single player mode. I would never judge it on that. I would only judge it on multiplayer because I think that's the intended way to play it. And ironically, I can't even play the original in a way that I would like to because I only play on Final Destination. I cannot play. I refuse to play it with items, and I refuse to play it on any stages that aren't Final Destination. Or I'll make an exception for the one. I don't know if it has. I'm sure it has a name, but the one with just the flat and then 3 platforms.
Battlefield. Yeah.
Yeah,
Battlefield. Yeah, I'll play there, but I prefer not to. But I only play on those 2 stages. And then if I play in the original, I'm just mad that doesn't exist. I have to play on Hyrule Castle only. So, but yeah, I don't like fucking around.
Stay tuned. Let's smash it up, boys.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.